Is this thing on? Cool. I'm sure you've got a lot of questions. Don't worry, I'm sure most of them will be answered soon enough. My name's Trixie, and I'm dying. I only wish to share the story of my life before I go. I hope someone watches this and avoids the mistakes that I made. When I was young, I was happy, full of innocent joy and ignorant bliss, unaware of how cruel the whole world could be. Me and my brother used to play in the creek outside our house. We never thought it was dangerous. We were just kids. One summer we stayed out late because Dad was on a warpath again. We were tired, but we were too afraid to go home, so we chose to camp out that night. We made a tent out of sticks and mud. I woke up to his screams that night. My first look at what death is like. God, how I wish I could go back and change that. I went home, told my mom. I'll never forget the look on her face. They sent me away after I haven't spoken to him in years. Alone on the streets, I made a mistake when I was around 15. I felt the whole world was against me. I fell into the wrong crowd, I guess you could say. Well, to be more specific, I fell for the wrong girl. She was older, cooler, and broken, yet somehow she was perfect. I worshipped the ground that she walked on, and she lived for the attention. I was so alone before I met her. She breathed life back into me, and in return, I gave that life back to her. 6 months into this friendship, and she asked me to do the unthinkable. She told me she was being abused by her boyfriend, and she needed me to help and take care of it. I didn't realize what she really meant until it was too late. She turned me into a monster, but I allowed it. Maybe I always knew I would end up like this. Someone so obsessed with the idea of love that I never even questioned what they asked of me. I should have just asked more questions. That's besides the point. I need to take responsibility for the choices I made. This is not for sympathy. I want you to get the monster that I am. Once I plunged that knife into his chest, the whole dam broke. The next stop was my parents, and she was all too happy to help me achieve my goals. The more I killed, the happier she seemed, healthier even. I wish I knew then what I know now. Maybe I could have stopped this, or maybe it's always been in the cards for me. I mean, the kids who grow up on the wrong side of the tracks hardly ever make anything of themselves. I always thought I would, but she took all my time and all my faith. Killing my family was a cathartic experience for me. After all those years, I was able to point all that hate and anger at the ones who started it all, but that wasn't enough. I felt the whole world did me wrong, and I wanted to see it all burn to ash. I used to hear the screams when I closed my eyes. Now I hear nothing, not even my own beating heart. It's funny how I never noticed how she got better, but I got worse. I always thought that was my body's way of dealing with the guilt, by making me sick. Turns out, I fell in love with the demon, and she needed to corrupt an innocent soul in order to fully enter this world. She saw someone who was broken and took a form that I would take to. She's been watching me since the day I watched him die. I blamed myself, and she preyed on the weakness. My pain brought her to life, and my life brought her into reality. Everything I did, all those poor innocent souls killed in cold blood, all this brought her back to life, back into the real world. Now she's done with me, and I'm done with this world. I don't know where I'm gonna end up, but I know I'll deserve whatever happens to me there.
This is it. The end of who I am. Yeah, this is it. I never realized how true this statement would be until one day I looked back at the almost empty page Written at the top, the letters made me think back to that time. What was going through my mind? Maybe I'll never know the truth of such simple statements. All I can do is ponder about a distant past. Am I even the same person? I mean, we all change over time, but they just seem so foreign to me. It's funny, isn't it? How much can truly change in just a couple of years? I mean, who I was when I wrote those few simple lines is gone. And who I am as I'm writing this is dying. As time goes on, we all change, walk a new path with each breath, until we meet our final place. And no one really knows what happens then. I don't even know why I'm writing this now, or why I even started writing it in the first place. Somehow I feel I need to write this all down, like if I don't put this stream of consciousness into words, I'm never gonna find out what it all means. I used to think identity was finite, like nothing could change the core of a person. It wasn't until recently I realized how untrue that statement was. Some traumas can run so deep they shake you to the core. I knew when I walked into that room and saw my sister in that hospital bed. She used to be happy, full of life and love. I saw something else that day. A broken, bruised pile of flesh with her face. I knew then I had to say goodbye. I knew that who I was my whole life before this moment no longer mattered. I truly broke that day, hearing the long monotone beat that said my sister had found all the answers to questions she never had. Life is a funny way of putting things into perspective like that. I took my sister for granted, and so she was taken from me. I fear what else may happen should I keep down this path of mine. Am I even making any sense? I guess not. I mean, nothing ever makes sense. I'm just a madman who can't keep his shit together long enough to write one stupid letter. It's like my memory is fragmented. Like I don't know what really happened and what was just a story I made up to make myself feel better. Maybe they were always stories, a web of lies that I weaved to help myself sleep at night. I shouldn't have been in that room. I caused the accident that killed her. She didn't want to go to that stupid party, but I made her. We were driving back home. I was being loud, too loud, and she didn't realize there was a cliff. I should have been the one to die, but it was her. Maybe there's a reason I came back to this. It was her suggestion to write the letter to myself. She thought it would help me get rid of that pain I held. Never thought she would be on that list. Maybe from this point on I can live a happy life, if only for her sake. This is not the end of who I am.
The last breath you take is bittersweet, a sour little flavor, the taste of your defeat, a beautiful goodbye before you slip into eternal sleep. I always hated the way things changed. No matter how hard you hold, nothing stays in place. Someday, at some time, everything slips away. And that's just something that I'll always hate. I love the way that love feels. That's why I question if their love is real, or did I create a facade? I like to think I could be better. But this anger has control. I love the idea of being happy, but I don't know if it's something I can feel. And if I can, am I going to believe it? And will I keep this happy feeling when no one else is with me? Will I let my fear keep me in a cell? I fought so hard to get better. I fell so far from my former grace. I held so tightly I was crushed under my own weight. They all called my name, saying they needed to be saved. They claw their way up my legs, trying to force me to stay. All the while they give me all of the blame when their life ends up in flames. Maybe it's too late for me to change, because my heart's too big to watch them in pain. But they all leave me once they feel okay, then hit me up when they have nowhere else to run. I'm dying and all they can do is poke fun, then unload their issues like bullets from a gun. I smile and I laugh, but inside I'm going numb. And the second that they see it, they'll leave. So I convinced myself that the problem is me. Death is the one thing that we all share. Even breathing is not a guarantee.
We will all end the same as we started, soulless beings who have no clue. Will I remember who hurt me when I'm through? Will I remember all the pain? Will I even remember the happy things? Or do I start over from scratch with fresh eyes? Do I break down all over again in a different life? Do I end up seeing heartache from the other side? I don't even know what happens when we die. Somehow I'm not afraid. I know someday I'm going to meet my fate. I take solace in knowing that it's absolute. In the game of life, the object is to lose, and that's the one and only truth. Life is a beautiful and ugly thing, a colorful display of pain, a single drop of rain with nothing to drink. If I could tell you how I thought you'd understand. It's not that I hate you, I just don't want to be stabbed. My back is already scarred from all the friends of the past. My youth taught me that sometimes friendship can't last. I was young and dumb, but I could never learn to close my heart off so I didn't get hurt. I chose to see the best in everyone, but they are not what I believe. I gave them every chance I can, because I truly wanted peace. I'll help them get better in their hour of need. They leave, and I smile because they didn't need me. Even as I watch the blood start to pool at my feet, screams echo in my head when I try to go to sleep, telling me next time I should be the one who is. As I stare in the mirror, I don't know what I see. A vision of beauty I don't recognize as me. I should cancel. I'm not ready yet. How can I give anyone love when I'm not sure what it is? How can I see their beauty when I'm trapped in the darkness? The light is blinding, I think I'll just stay inside. Why am I still hiding here, trapped inside a lie? Tie me to the bed, I'll keep my mouth shut. Take the memories of us and keep them locked up. I'll never forget how happy I was. I'll never forget how much this hurt. I know you were broken and didn't see what you had done. That's what I let myself believe. I know it's not true. You told me to my face that I was your supply. The love you pulled from when your well was dry. Well, I can't be the one who catches you when you fall next time. This is my fate, left alone wondering if you're okay. I used to be filled with rage when I'd think of your face, but lately I've been thinking of us and I feel nothing. What do I replace the pain with? What do I do when I finally make peace with this? When I move on, what am I supposed to feel? How am I supposed to feel? When did the rain stop? The sun's out, but I'm still inside. When did the pain stop? The anger's gone, but I'm still alive. When did the fear stop? Why am I still afraid to live my life? When did the flame stop? Why do I still feel the burn? Will I even know a life that's full of love? I fell in love with the idea of you. Someone who would never leave me and would always be there when I needed it. A fierce defender of all of the injustices. I suffered a fatal crash back to reality when I saw the truth. You embodied all the worst parts of me. A monster that I made wrapped up in your sheets. I created a nightmare and I dressed it up like it was a dream. Now I'm left to question how much of the blame I should take. Is it possible I hurt you just as much as you did me? I was your safety net, the conscious, that little voice in your head. Every time I tried to leave, you would always give in. Then you'd give up on life and you'd pull me back in. I'd call your bluff the last time, and I saw you were never going to do it. You only needed me to keep coming, and I think I fell in love with the idea of that. I surrender. I know I lack insight. Take me by the hand and show me what's right. I surrender to your will. I no longer desire to fight. I'm an addict, and you have everything I need. I don't know what else there is when I leave. I'm empty when away from you, but we have yet to meet. I see you in my mind when I'm trying my best to fall asleep. Dream me into life so I can finally breathe. Write me into your story so I can finally be. Show me who I am. Tell me you finally hear my scream. Save me from the life that I refuse to leave. Grab my hands as I'm drowning. Pull me from the sea. Tell me it gets better. Make me believe. Take my heart in your hands and promise me that if I surrender, you'll try your best not to hurt me. You were the life of the party and I pretended to be on my phone. You said, you don't ever have to be alone. It's like you knew I didn't want to be here. It's like you saw I just wanted to leave. You smiled at me and I felt free. Then when I woke up from the dream, I'm alone in my bedroom. These four walls laugh at me. I can almost hear them asking me, why do you never leave? When the whole world refuses you, what's the point? I ask this as if they'll ever respond. I know I won't be this way forever, but how long will it go on? Every time I close my eyes, she was the life of the party. When I woke up, she's just gone. I could be a better person. Cut out my ego and pride. Maybe then my love will find me. Life is finite. We only get so much time. As much as I hurt, I don't really want to die. I should have tried harder. I could have done more. Instead, I'm left wondering if this is it. I guess you can't keep hurting if you're dead. I'd be lying if I said I was happy you're gone. I would do anything for us to sing one final song, take another road trip, try our best not to get lost, but I'll never get another chance. I'll never hear your laugh. I might forget your voice. All the memories do a dance inside my head, drowning out all of the noise. I hope you're doing better now, wherever you are.